The Desert Plunge ice bath absolutely solves some of the biggest problems when it comes to cold plunges and ice baths. Today, of all days, I am gonna go over what this bad boy does right, where it falls short, and if this is a must buy or an absolute bust. Of course, we are gonna compare this directly to the competition. Stick around because the price point on this might just scare you. The No Fade channel checking in. Jonathan here, and today I'm taking you through the entire review of the Desert Plunge cold tub. On a day where we are expecting 26 inches of snow, it's hard to worry about keeping your ice bath cold. But when it comes to ice baths, that is one of the biggest issues, especially in the warmer months. It can be not only quite costly, but a huge nuisance to get the water temperature low enough to actually make an impact on your cold plunges. The Desert Plunge is massively insulated. I want you to think of a Yeti cooler. That's what this thing is. It keeps this ultra cold. Whether you're using a chiller or you're just using ice, or in today's case, Mother Nature to keep this thing cold, that insulation is a massive factor and it puts it well above the majority of other cold plunges out there. Another thing we don't often think about is safety. If you've got little ones around the house, you want to make sure they're not going to accidentally climb in or fall in. And Desert Plunge has two massively sturdy latches down here, and they even have a locking mechanism up here if necessary. And once this thing is locked down, it's almost like a vacuum, again, keeping all that coldness in and the heat out. And when it comes to covers, they are an absolute must-have for your cold plunges. Why? You're gonna keep all of the dirt and debris that happens to be floating around in the air out of the water. It's gonna keep the water cleaner, longer, and you're also gonna keep the sun off of that water, so you're not gonna get as much bacteria growth, and again, you're not gonna have it heat up as quickly as it would without a cover. The Desert Plunge does come with chiller hookups, so you can go completely ice-free, and that is a massively nice convenience because having to dump in tons and tons and tons of ice, especially in the summertime, is difficult to make. It's also a pain in the nuisance to go out and buy, and quite frankly, it doesn't do as good of a job as a chiller. But on days like today, you can absolutely go without a chiller, and we'll talk about that a little more down the road. One of the great things about the Desert Plunge ice bath is that it is massive, and I do mean massive. There's a lot of ice baths out there, especially the budget ones, that feel like coffins. They feel like suitcases that you're getting into, and it is irksome. Like, you get in and you wonder like if you're ever gonna be able to get out, or they're just so small. You get in and the water's like up to here and you couldn't submerge your head if you wanted to. Well, the Desert Plunge is large. I am 6'1", 190, and I get in that thing, plenty of extra room. I could put another person in there if I really wanted to. And in fact, they actually sell a wide version. So if you do want to have two people taking an ice bath at the same time and you want even more space, yep, they've got that too. Changing out the water and cleaning your ice bath and cold plunge is a massive headache. And that's why Desert Plunge actually has a system that allows you to only have to change out the water twice a year. Starting off with the vacuum seal cover that keeps the sun off of the water, gonna help prevent that bacteria growth, and it keeps all of the debris and leaves and whatever else might be in the air from settling on your water as well. As I previously mentioned, they have chiller connections, allowing you to connect a physical chiller that will keep that water moving, keeping it from being stagnant, but also with that chiller comes a filter, allowing you to filter out any debris, anything that might be growing in your water, and keeping things clean. If that wasn't enough, Desert Plunge sells a complete sanitation kit. They send you all of the chemicals with instructions on how to properly prep your water so that it's going to stay crystal clear for up to 6 months. Desert Plunge thought of it all. They even have an ozone kit that allows ozone to be injected directly into the water continuously. This will prevent any bacteria or viruses from growing. On top of all that, this is made in the great United States of America. It also comes in 4 different colors and has a 1-year warranty. You can use code NOFADE247 to save huge, and I'll put links in the description. Now, you know, if it seems too good to be true, it probably is. So what's the catch? Well, of course, we have to compare it to the competition to see if this thing actually stacks up and if it hits all of the value propositions that we are looking for in a cold plunge. So as of the unit that I have with the chiller, you're looking at on sale as of today, $3,200. And that does come with free shipping and a 1-year warranty, but that's a large chunk of change. You can save even more money with my code, but it's still gonna hurt your feelings. If you did want to actually get this without the chiller, it's still gonna run you about $1,400. So it's still quite a bit of money. Now, Ice Barrel is a company that was probably one of the first OGs in the game in terms of selling high-end cold plunges. They actually don't even sell the first version that I had had for a number of years because they've kind of moved towards insulated versions. You've got their Ice Barrel 500 and you've got the Ice Barrel 300. And don't let these price points fool you. These do not include the chiller, and that tends to be where a lot of the cost comes in. Their 300 with the chiller is nearly $6 grand. Whew. That's a lot of money. Another company that is almost eerily similar to the Desert Plunge is the modtub. Their 2.0 cold plunge system is also American made. It's also got some insulation and it comes with the chiller, and this is gonna run you $33.75. Again, a lot of these companies put their prices high. They have sales and then affiliate codes to help you bring the price point down. But any way you slice it, it is still a lot of money.
If you're enjoying today's review of the Desert Plunge cold tub, do me a favor and check out all the links in the description. They support the channel, they help me keep doing these crazy type of videos, and they keep these videos honest.
For those of you that don't want to take out a second mortgage to afford a cold plunge, I want to bring you my favorite budget cold plunge ice bath that is brand new. These things are only like 12 months old in terms of their design. It's the inflatable cold plunge. The previous inflatable versions only had inflation at the top and they were really, really cheap. This whole thing is inflated and you're gonna have air that is going to be stagnant. And the good thing about that is that it actually makes a pretty good insulator. Now this does come with hookups if you do want to add yourself in a chiller. You can see that with this chiller that they provide, it's going to be, you know, $1,200. Again, that's not nearly as much as the Desert Plunge, and I'm not just necessarily trying to compare apples to apples. This is a budget version, but it is a viable option at $180. Well, the Desert Plunge is massively heavy, 110 pounds empty, and it's big and bulky, so it is fairly awkward to move around and get it into position, especially if you're all by your lonesome. You do need to be careful where you ultimately set this up. You're starting off at 110 pounds, you add 100 gallons of water, and you're gonna be at 910 pounds before you even get in it. So you've gotta be mindful of all of that weight, especially if you're gonna put it on a back porch. The biggest nuisance when it comes to a cold plunge is cleaning out. Not just cleaning the water, but getting in and cleaning out the cold plunge itself. And the massive size of the Desert Plunge does make it a rather nuisance. One-fold, you've got a little bit of a gap between the drain and the bottom, meaning you're gonna have extra water on the bottom of that tub, and you're gonna have to tilt that whole tub on its side to get it to clear out, and then to get in there and wipe it down and basically disinfect the inside. It's one of those things, if you've got the chiller, you only have to do that every 6 months, but when you do, it is going to be a bit of work and it's gonna be a big nuisance. While Desert Plunge isn't as expensive as the 10,000 units, and it comes in under many of the premium units on the market when it comes to cold plunges, it still has an associated cost that people don't consider, and that is running the chiller. Not only do you have to pay for the chiller, but you're gonna have to be running that constantly, 24 hours a day. And in the wintertime, maybe it doesn't need to run as much, but in the summertime, that thing is going to be cranking to keep that water low. The Desert Plunge does have really good insulation, so it's a fairly efficient system. But you're still gonna have to pay for the electricity, and you're gonna have to pay for the chemicals to keep that water clean, as well as the filter that goes into that chiller. And that electrical bill is the main reason I don't have the chiller connected at the moment. The air temperature on a good day is about 30 degrees Fahrenheit, so I certainly don't actually need the water chilled any more than it already is. In fact, I've got to actually go in there and break up the ice. It's so cold out. And now it's time. It is time for my final thoughts when it comes to the Desert Plunge cold tub. This thing is awesome on so many different levels. Made in America, super thick insulation. It's got a locking cover. It's got chiller connections. It's got everything you want. And it's got that price tag. If this is something you use weekly and consistently, then it's absolutely worth the price of admission. Unfortunately, it's just going to be a tough pill to swallow for many of you, especially if you don't know that you are absolutely loving those ice baths, if you drank the ice bath Kool-Aid. There are a lot of people out there that think they want an ice bath in their home, they get it, and they find out that they just don't use it on a consistent basis. Even just the tub, without the chiller, is gonna be a tough hill to climb at $1,000, $1,000. Keep in mind, the air tub that I showed you, the budget version, does get the job done with a cover. It's got some insulation because of the air that's trapped in the inflatable siding, and it only runs you like $250 or less off of Amazon. Plus, because the budget version is relatively light when it's empty, you can easily tilt it on its side, wipe it down, clean it out, rinse it off, and just get back after it.
If you made it this far in the video, of course, give the video a like and subscribe because, hey, I am ice cold and I'm doing this for you. But if you want more cold plunge content, then check out these two videos right here.